When I finally got around to watching the 2021 movie Pig, it was not what I expected at all. I had heard about it and wanted to watch it for about a year or so, and everything I read about it described it as John Wick but with Nicolas Cage and a pig, which sounds exciting but is not a good way to describe it at all, and I'm so glad for it. Released in 2021, Pig was the feature debut of director Michael Sarnovsky. Forgive me if I mispronounce his name. It follows Robin Feld, a recluse living in the Oregon wilderness who makes a living by finding truffles with his truffle pig. Amir, played by Alex Wolff, is the son of a wealthy entrepreneur who's getting into the business by buying and selling the truffles Rob and his pig find. One day, he accidentally lets it slip to his father that Rob has a truffle-finding pig, and he pays some people to kidnap it. Rob is knocked out and goes on a quest to retrieve the only companion he has left. The film touches on the themes of love, loss, grief, and the pretentiousness of the upper class.
We don't get a lot of things to really care about.
We don't get a lot to really care about. Sarnovsky decides to slowly reveal Feld's character throughout the film. Right from the get-go, we know that he's a simple man who lives in the woods and loves his pig. But more hints are dropped under the surface. There's a reason he has those tapes he doesn't want to play. And there's a reason he hunts for truffles and not just any old ingredient. The scene when Rob first gets in the car with Amir and he keeps turning off the classical music is played for laughs, but it's really a hint into his character. And it's these little teases of the true Robin Felds that makes Pig such a compelling story. Part of his character is that he's a man dealing with real grief. He's lost his wife, and those tapes are recordings of her. And he hunts for truffles because he's a former chef that was well known in Portland. At some point after he lost his wife, he decided to leave his former life and live out in the woods with his truffle pig. Why did he move out there? The loss of his wife almost surely played a major part in it. The film is partially a character study on how he learns to deal with his grief and comes to grips with it. He spends most of the film seemingly depressed, barely talking, and sounding angry and sad when he does. We can assume he's repressing these feelings and has never talked it out with anyone, since he lives alone with his pig. After he lost his wife, the pig took her place as the only thing in his life that he truly loved. And we know that he does love the pig because he tells Amir that he knows how to find the truffles on his own, using trees. He didn't need it for money. He needed it for companionship. Rob isn't the only character dealing with the loss of his wife either. Darius, the father of Amir and the man who had the pig kidnapped, is grieving his wife as well. Amir says that she killed herself, but we later learn that she's still alive, albeit in a hospital bed. We really don't know her condition, but it seemingly isn't well. Darius is still railing from this, and Rob decides to exploit it. Amir told Rob that the last time his parents were truly happy was when they had a meal that was cooked by Rob, although he didn't realize it was Rob when he told him that. So after Darius says that he'll never give him the pig back, Rob decides to make this same meal with Amir. Was this just a genius emotional manipulation, or a genuine attempt to remind Darius of a happier time in this season of grief? We'll never know, but I like to think it was somewhat therapeutic for Rob to not only relive his own happy days, but to help remind Amir and Darius of theirs. When Darius realizes that the meal that Rob made is the same meal he and his wife had all those years ago, he gets emotional, and this leads to him revealing that the drug addicts he hired to kidnap the pig accidentally killed her.
We, couldn't, she died.
In a heartbreaking, powerful show of emotion, Rob drops to the floor, devastated by the news. This great performance by Nick Cage shows us that he truly did love the pig. He already lost his wife, whose death he never got over, but now he's lost the next closest thing. The bloodstains he's kept on his face the whole movie can be seen as physical manifestations of the pain he won't let go. Only when he gets home does he decide to wash it away, and all of his pent-up emotions with it. He then puts on the tapes his wife recorded, showing us he's finally coming to terms with the loss, and to a lesser degree, the loss of his pig. He's no longer pushing away the memory of her, but letting it live on as he should. Another theme the film touches on, which I found very fascinating, is authenticity and the pretentiousness of the upper class. Amir grew up wealthy and is now making money of his own by selling Feld's truffles. He knows he's got to play the part if he wants to be accepted by the upper class. He's got to listen to the fancy music, drink the fancy wine, drive the fancy car, etc. When Feld grabs a ride from him after his truck breaks down, he's got classical music playing, but it's got a commentary over the music explaining it. Rob turns it off, leading Amir to turn it back on, and they go back and forth for a few seconds. It's seemingly just a well-executed joke and nothing more. However, this right here displays one of the main themes of the movie. We learn throughout the movie that Felds was once a renowned chef in the Portland area. He asks Amir to get them a reservation at a fine dining establishment and recognizes their chef as someone who used to work for him. He serves them a tiny dish that almost no one outside the fine dining sphere would ever enjoy or could even afford. Rob asks him if this is the kind of cooking he truly likes, and he vomits out an answer about how it's cutting edge and exciting, but never says that it's the kind of cooking he enjoys. Robin asks the chef what happened to his dream restaurant, an authentic English pub. It would never work here, he awkwardly chortles. None of it's real. These people don't care about him. They don't even care about the food, because it's inauthentic. They only pretend to like it because it's seen as the rich, fancy New Age cuisine. And the chefs only pretend to like making it because it increases their standing in the food scene. We only get a few things to really care about, Fells tells him. And for him, that was cooking, his wife, and then the pig. This chef is only pretending to care about the food he's making, when he really should go open that pub and be truly authentic. I take this as a bit of commentary on the pretentiousness of the wealthy. You may disagree, but this theme comes full circle towards the end of the movie. Felds goes back home, and Amir is sitting in his car. The classical music comes on, and he decides to finally shut it off. He never cared about it. He only pretended to seem smarter and snobbier than he did before. He's finally being authentic. Maybe the not real chef will do the same with his not real food at his not real restaurant, but it all comes down to what he chooses to truly care about. Congrats to Sarnovsky on directing a brilliant commentary about these deep themes instead of the revenge action movie that I was expecting. Go watch Pig on Hulu or wherever you can find it if you haven't seen it yet. And until next time, keep chillin'.